Hi, my name is Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to The Last Podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I'm happy you found me. And if you're returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. Today, I want to talk about passion. So many of us have it, and there are so many of us who don't. So many people are going through life, living day by day, letting life lead them instead of leading their own lives with purpose. I was guilty for that for a couple of times in my life, and I can tell you it's not a good feeling. In the past, I've often also said, I got to find my passion, which is a misnomer because if you think about it, that would indicate that passion somehow for a particular thing or activity was lost, right? And in fact, passion is developed, or you can even say discovered. I once read, passion is often developed accidentally, and I believe there is a little validity to this idea because I've become passionate about computers, and however, I believe passion can be developed in more ways than one. Now, why passion is developed opposed to finding it? I'll get back to that thought at the end of this podcast with an idea that contradicts what I'm just about to talk about. I know it's crazy, but I'm going to give you an example of passion through my own personal story. And I think that I know for a fact that passion can be discovered through solving a problem. And why do I say that? And I'm going to give you my example, my personal story. Many moons ago, many years ago, my wife bought me a computer. It was an e-machine. And if you remember those computers, you know this was a long time ago. The computer stopped working, and I tried to get it to work with my limited knowledge of computers at that time. Now, there was a repair shop that was right up the block from us, and I took my e-machine computer to them to see if how much it would cost to fix, or even if it was worth spending the money to even repair. The man behind the counter said, your money would better be spent on something else. So, sad, and I kind of started to walk away. But then he said, on the other hand, it's not really worth fixing, but he offers me a $400 credit if I was to purchase a $1,000 machine that was on his shelf. So, either I can go home with my broke computer, or I can spend $600 and give him my broke computer as a $400 credit, right? Now, I don't know about you, but if you're willing to give me a credit of $400 for my e-machine, that means that it's still value. But here's the real kicker. My wife only spent $369 for that computer. You're thinking it, right? This guy was definitely trying to get over on me. And I know. So what did I do? I went to my favorite store, Barnes & Noble, and purchased a book on how to repair computers. I read it from cover to cover. And then I fixed my own computer. And guess what? The spark was lit. I caught the bug. I was given a shot of adrenaline with a high dose of accomplishment that soared through the roof. I was elevated. Even my wife was surprised. I went from not knowing how to fix computers to the person in the neighborhood fixing computers on a discount. Then I started building computers and designing cases, and obtained an OEM license from Microsoft to put a licensed copy of Windows on every computer I built. I was now in business and opened a computer repair shop months later. Guess what? My wife had to peel me out of that store. I fell in love with what I was doing, with what I was learning. I was becoming better and better at it every single day. All I wanted to do was learn more. So I purchased more books about computers and found that I didn't care for programming that much, but I fell in love with hardware, installations, and much more. That passion for computers was developed and discovered through solving a problem I had, a broken computer. Passion can be developed through a problem. If you develop or have a problem, I think your passion can be found there, as if it was missing all along. I don't think you were privy to your passion like I wasn't. It was there all along, but I developed it. And as I worked through it, as I worked harder every day, I developed a passion for fixing computers. Well, what do you think? Passion can be developed through a problem you have or trying to help someone else with their own problem. You can have a certain interest about something, not passion, but interest. And as your interest grows, you can emotionally get involved, and your passion can be born out of that. To have passion about anything requires exposure to that particular thing or activity or whatever it is. And sometimes it may even require self-encouragement. Outside self-encouragement, you might need to be encouraged by someone else. I don't know. But if you think about it, your passion is probably already in you. I believe it takes several exposure points and time, because in the beginning to developing passion, I believe that you have something. I don't think it's always easy. I don't think trying to find passion or develop passion or discovering passion is always going to be rainbows and sunshine. It may just be something that you may find interesting or somewhat enjoyable, right? You might find a little enjoyment doing something. And when your interests start to develop into a skill and it becomes more enjoyable, the more you learn and the more you grow, you might develop a love and passion for what it is that you're doing. In essence, passion may take a great deal of practice. In my own case, I've read thousands of books, let me correct that, thousands of pages in books on computer parts, drivers, computers, and believe me when I tell you, I became very good at fixing computers. Now, I'm not saying you are going to find your passion with computers or anything. It could be dance, it could be writing. And I know a lot of people who have passion for writing. Yes. So imagine that. Whatever it is that you feel that you might like doing, explore it even further. What do you enjoy that takes a certain skill that separates you from the rest of the pack? Expound on it. And you may discover you're not only passionate about something, but literally it might catch you by surprise. Yes, I said catch you by surprise, but don't get me wrong. I believe passion is not all about exposure and repetition. I believe passion is like finding the perfect mate to spend the rest of your life with. And as you court one another over time and start spending more quality time with one another, you develop a fondness and an affection toward each other. And one day you realize you fell head over heels for them and found yourself deeply in love, and you can't even imagine living life without them. Passion is about the skills you develop, the experience over time, the knowledge you gain, your tenaciousness and commitment to improving daily to a level of mastery with purpose. Because purpose, I believe, amplifies your passion to a degree of a higher meaning and fulfillment in your life. Just like two people who were madly in love and passionate about their union. It's not all about the love, but all the ingredients that encapsulate their union. God, sacred union, love, honor, trust, respect, integrity, affection, devotion, commitment, unity, loyalty, promise, encouragement, endurance, gratitude, support, harmony, and dedication. Do you see that? In the beginning of this podcast, I said why passion is developed opposed to finding it. I told you I'd get back to you with this thought at the end with an idea that contradicts being developed, right? I don't know. You can find out if it contradicts it for you, but it's just a thought. So in Proverbs 18:22, whosoever findeth a wife findeth a good thing. If you find your passion, is it finding it or developing it? I think it's all about your perspective of how you see it. Because if you found yourself a good wife, or did your relation developed? Because one can argue your passion is not lost. Neither was your wife. I hope you're hearing me, but I'm being honest for a moment. Let me be honest, because not unless she was actually lost, but still in all, I believe it's all about your perspective in life. And that could be anything. It doesn't have to be your passion. It doesn't have to be your marriage or anything of that nature. But whatever it is, if you are passionate about something, you are serious about something, you are dedicated about something, and you love something, you honor that something, and you honor yourself in that, and you trust that your skills will increase, they'll become better, and you become better, and you respect that, don't you? And you have a level of integrity because you are now passionate about something, and that passion is turned into the integrity for your devotion and your commitment and your unity and your loyalty and your promise to yourself. And then your encouragement to continue as you learn more. And then guess what? You have that endurance to keep going, and the gratitude. Every level of commitment you've passed, you're going to be grateful for it. And your support, whether it's through the objects, or whether it's through what you're doing, or whether it's through the people around you and the people who are supporting you, but also harmony, because you can't be stressed out about this, right? And there are sometimes you could be passionate about something and still have a little stress. And it's okay, a little pressure every now. That's to help you with that gratitude. Because once you surmount that pressure, you're going to be grateful to having the commitment to continue to go through, the endurance and the dedication. And it's the same thing with the marriage. It's the same thing with the beautiful union. I don't know, but that's what I believe. You have your own thoughts. I just wanted to give you food for thought. And if you're not passionate about something, perhaps you just haven't tried the right things. And I think that's what it boils down to. You have to expose yourself to a great deal to find out what you might be passionate about, or how you might develop your own passion. Because look what happened to me. And I'll go back to that story. I wasn't passionate about computers, but it took me trying to figure out how to fix a computer. But I want you to understand this. It's not just about the computer. It was about the gift. It was about cherishing what my wife took the time out of spending her hard-earned money to provide happiness for me. It was about me saying, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to fix this because I cherish this. I cherish her. It's the same thing with your union. It's all about your perspective. Where is your perspective at when it comes to uplifting yourself, when it comes to finding or developing or discovering your passion about your own life? Hey, look, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast. I rambled on long enough for you, but I hope that you were able to get something out of this. And that's what it's all about. Hey, again, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast. Today is Monday. I wish you a fantastic week. And do me a favor, subscribe, and like this podcast. I really appreciate you listening. I thank you so much and wish the very best for you.